Well, I've been playing with some of my lantern collection here. I've been accumulating these things for probably 40 years. Used them as a kid when I was camping even. Really common stuff for the most part. An inexpensive way to get into collecting anything old. You know, you can get these things at tag sales, flea markets for like 15, 20 bucks, 25 tops. Maybe slightly more if they're a special model, like that yellow one there, or really clean like that Dietz over there. But for the most part, the prices are kept pretty low. You can even get some of these brand new, and I'll get into that in a minute. And for the most part, they need maybe a new wick, a little cleaning up, possibly paint, and they're good to go. Nothing really happens to them. There's no electronics here. There's no bulbs to replace. It's kerosene or lamp oil fired, and lots of them around. And there's all kinds of information online about who made what. The most prolific maker of these lanterns was this one over here. This is the Dietz Monarch. The Dietz company made lanterns. Well, actually, they're still making lanterns today. They make them in China now, but their name is still on a lantern. They are still manufacturing lanterns. And they pretty much bought out all the other U.S. lantern manufacturers over the years and made them their own, and some they closed up, got rid of. Some they absorbed and made their models under their own name. But this is the Dietz Monarch, as I mentioned. You see this is a galvanized lantern. It is not painted. This is probably a little older than that blue one over there, which is the same model. I'm going to put this one probably early 1940s, somewhere like that, into the 50s. It has a red lens. Yes, it does. That does not automatically make this a railroad signal lantern. If you look on eBay, it seems like every single lantern out there that's got a red lens, a red glass in it, is a railroad signal lantern. No. What this is a milking lantern. This is what a farmer uses early in the morning when it's dark, or in the late evening when they milk the cows in the barn, so they don't ruin night vision themselves or spook the animals. Not today. Today, of course, they have other alternatives. This would be in the olden days, 50, 100, 150 years ago, whatever. You can put a red shade in any lantern like this. You can get these lanterns, little ones over here, come with them. You can get them for them. They don't come with them. You can buy one for it. This is an original. It came with the red lens. It was probably sold that way. It's a Dietz lens. A Dietz fits all on there. If you do buy one of these at the flea markets, you want to make sure you get one, like I said, in good shape with a burner. That's this part right here. That's the part with this knob on it that turns up, raises, and lowers the wick. Now, you can get that burner brand new. I think it's the Kirkland company has it. You can get it off Amazon, even eBay. You have to know what size. They're not all one size fits all. You have to know the size. But you can get them. They're like $14 to $20. So you're basically paying for the burner, a new burner, what you're going to pay for the whole lantern. Because when you find these things in pieces, missing bits, missing the glass, missing the burner at the flea market or whatever, you're going to get it for $5 or $10. If they even bother to bring it along to sell to you. They're very cheap when they're like that. You can get new glass. You can get a new burner. What's harder is if it has rust holes in it and stuff like that. Now you're patching stuff with JB Weld, and there's more time involved, a little bit more investment of money. JB Weld is not free. Paint is not free. This lantern has some patina on it, but not enough that you'd want to refinish it. You'd want to paint it or anything like that. It's got a nice look, though. Leave it alone. Okay, now on the subject of railroad lanterns. It's a railroad lantern if it says it is. Railroad companies put their names on the lanterns. Either they had the manufacturer, like Dietz, stamp their name into the actual metal itself, or they put it on themselves. They engraved it themselves. And mostly they were stamped on. If you're a big railroad, you're ordering 1,000 of these lanterns at a time or whatever, the Dietz company will put whatever name you want on there. The Pennsylvania Railroad, the New York Central, whatever. If it's got that, they're going to be worth a little bit more money. There's still a lot of them around, but they're going to be worth more money. And that makes it a railroad lantern. Then it's legit. Otherwise, it's just a lantern with a red shade for milking cows. This, on the other hand, this one right here, this is a legit railroad lantern. This is a Dressel lantern. Dressel made this. They made lots of railroad lanterns. This style of lantern was pretty much exclusively railroad and maybe heavy industry. In this case, you can see that right there, the Pennsylvania Railroad. That's who ordered this one. These came with clear, with red, with green, and with blue shades. Each one had a different signal meaning. This one is the clear shade, obviously. It's a really nice shape. You can see it's working. They're not always found this clean because these things were working lanterns. They were worked hard by guys that weren't all that concerned that they banged it around. You know, if they ruined it, they just simply requisitioned another one. But this one's really nice shape. I'm going to guess this was made in the 30s or 40s, maybe the early 50s. Hard to say. I don't know when they stopped exactly. But that is a Dressel Railroad lantern, a real one. This is the Blue Dietz, probably 1960s. Really clean, has most of its paint. I deliberately left the wick cut flat, straight across. Now, there is such a thing on these. You have to trim the wick. You know, it's not just set it and forget it. You don't just thread a new piece of wick in there, cut it off to 4 inches or whatever size you think it's supposed to be, and then call it good. You have to trim the top of the wick to get a proper flame. Now, if you notice, this flame is nice and pointed, as is this one. It's pyramid shaped. That one's more rounded because it's getting a little bit burnt in. This one was cut straight across. I did that deliberately to show you what it looks like when you do that. A little bit uneven. Yeah, you can leave it like this. This is not going to hurt anything, but it's unsightly, and it shows that you haven't trimmed it properly. The proper way to trim it is to pull up the wick, cut it till it's flat across, and then you nip the sides like a shallow roof on a house. You nip it so it's like this. I should have one here to demonstrate. I forgot, but like this. That gives you that peaked flame that all the other lanterns you see here have. And that's a nice looking flame. And it throws off good light because you're actually increasing the surface area that's burning on the wick. Okay, let's do this little one here in the front. Now, this is the 276 Baby Special, made by Feuerhand. Feuerhand right there. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not German. I don't speak German, but these were made in West Germany during the Cold War, and they're still being manufactured there today. This company is still in operation, and they are still making lanterns. At one time, they were the largest lantern manufacturer in Europe, so I'm told. And they survived the Second World War. They did make lanterns for the German army during the war, too. Those are very pricey, very pricey. This, you can get brand new for, I'm going to say $45. I've seen them as cheap as $35 even. You look on eBay and shop them around. The Baby Special seems to be the only model that they're selling in this country. I don't know if they even make other ones, but it's a nice lantern. It really is. It's very, very well made. Those are nice light. All the parts are available for it right from the original manufacturer should you need something. This is a cold blast lantern. This is a hot blast lantern. Now, with hot blast, you have hot air, comes up the chimney there, up the shade, goes up that little pipe there, splits off here, and then goes back down these tubes into the combustion chamber here. That is not the fuel tank at the very top. It's segregated in there, it's sectioned off, and that air now gets sucked back into the flame. And it's burned twice. That reduces some of the smell that you can get from kerosene. Lamp oil is not really a problem, but with kerosene, you don't want the smell so much. And it increases the candle power of it a little bit. This is another method of doing it. It's called a cold blast. What you have here is the hot air goes up, out the chimney here. Cold air is sucked through those little holes there, down the tubes into the combustion chamber, and sucked through as fresh air into the flame. Also improving combustion and increasing the brightness of the flame. Both methods work just fine. There's nothing wrong with either one. That's the Feuerhand 276 West German Baby Special. Here's another one. You can see one is more of a galvanized color. The other one is kind of silvered. I don't really know. Tinned. I would say that's tinned. And this one is a little bit older, I believe, but it's still in very good shape. Works nice. Has the original Jenna glass. Does that say West Germany? Yeah, it says West Germany on it. So there's the lantern. That's Fire hand, I believe that is. Now let's put that out of the way. You got to be careful with these. They can be hot, especially at the top. Always handle it by the bail, which is that handle on top there. Here is the other Fire hand. This is the special model. Now, this is a good example of one that you will pay a little bit more money for. Expect to pay close to $100 for this. This is obviously, you've passed construction sites and seen those flashing orange lights on cones and whatever to warn you that there's a hole or whatever. That's what this is. From the 1950s, maybe the 1960s. Doesn't look like it was ever actually used out in the open. It's in really, really good shape. The paint is original and it's nice. It has the storm cap on it to prevent wind from blowing down in there in really bad weather. It is lit. It has the yellow. That's actually a yellow frosted glass on there. And it is original. Let's see, I don't want that to get too hot. There we go. And you can see it has an extended capacity tank. This is actually a baby special, just like this one. But they extended the tank down and they put the storm cap on it. You can see the similarities. It's the same lantern as that one, except it's got extra capacity and the storm cap. This is one of my personal collection. I'm not selling this one, but it's a very nice one. It holds a lot of kerosene in there, or lamp oil, should you choose to use that. And here in the back, let me move that around such a way I don't burn myself here. This, what did they call this one? Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Embry. I think there's another Fire hand. This is an Embry. Embry manufacturing was around from like the 1910s, I believe. They were bought out by Dietz in 1953, and Dietz shut down production. This lantern, this is also, you can see it's a cold blast. This one would probably be about 1940, somewhere around in there. Could even be a little bit older. It's more of a Dietz style. It has a smaller tank and a more straight tubes on the side, while the later ones are more rounded. I'm going to show you one in just a minute. Embry made lanterns for both Montgomery Wards and Sears. Sometimes you will find these with the Elgin name on them. They won't say Embry, like that. They will say, this one they call it the Superlight, Super Bright, something like that. They will say Elgin instead of Embry. But you can see, this is a fairly typical, number 150. What does that say? Little Supreme. They call this one the Little Supreme. It's in really nice shape for its age. It still has most of its original paint. It's got some nice toning on there. A little patina. And like all of these lanterns, they make decent light. And they're hard to blow out. See, it just flickers a little bit. And I'm blowing right in the holes on top. Hence the name Hurricane Lantern, I guess. Although they were used just for everything. All right, let me just move some stuff out of the way here. I'll get to this little one in a minute. Let's pull one of these forward. There's two of them back here. Okay. This is the Embry Air Pilot. They made this lantern from 1939, that's the number 2. The 1939 to 1953. Again, it was also made under the Elgin name. And you can see there's a definite difference. This is a modernized lantern. This is the older style. That one I showed you a minute ago, the Embry, that's the oldest, like the oldest type. This one is more streamlined, more modernized. It incorporates newer designs. The smaller, the shorter glass instead of the old chimney like this one. It's a short glass. It's a very wide tank. Now you see the difference. Where's the other one? Let me grab that again, put it over here. Okay. See how this tank is kind of the same width out as the arms of the tubes on the side? These were a little bit prone, and the Dietz most of all, not so much these Embrys. They were a little bit wider on the bottom to prevent this, but they could be knocked over fairly easily, because they weren't, they were tall and skinny. You had to be careful when using them. And usually the thing was to hang them up on a hook. This is a very wide base. These Air Pilots, it's a lot harder to knock these over. This one is not fueled right now. I don't have it cleaned up. I don't have a wick in there. It's a fairly recent acquisition. It's really, really clean for one of these. And look at that. That's the original paint. It has not seen heavy use of any kind. See, there's the Embry Company. That was in Warsaw, New York, USA. Imagine that. A New York company made right here in New York State. Back when we used to make things in this state instead of chase business off. But that's another rant for a different day. And I have two of them. This is where they're paired. One has clear lens, one has the red. Both from about the same vintage. My guess in these is late 1940s. Somewhere around in there, maybe even right up to 1953. And last but not least, at least for this video, I have this. This is a boat signal light. I'm not really sure who made this. Dietz would be my guess. These things are just a handheld light. Typical. This is what, say, a watchman or a policeman or anybody who had to be out at night would use before electric torches came into use. Flashlights, as we call them today. You know, it's kerosene powered. It's got a reflective lens on it that intensifies the light as much as possible. And still, it's a pale light. It's not really much light. They have a simple little burner inside there. You see it? With a reservoir for the kerosene. You see where it says boat signal light right on there. There was a time when these things were dirt cheap. I remember seeing these like 25 bucks, you know, 30 bucks if they were nice ones like this. Now I'm seeing them like on eBay, especially 200, 250. So this is going to be one of those lights I was talking about where you're going to pay more to own it. I've had this one forever. So obviously I didn't have to take out a mortgage to buy it. This one you're going to pay more for. That one you're going to pay more for. These ones, no. Like I said, this one you can get brand new. Not a problem. All day long and all different colors of the rainbow now. They got like blue, black, silver, red, yellow. Anything you want. Any color you want on these things. And they're all the same price. They're like 40, 45 bucks, right in there. Right off Amazon, you can get them. Off eBay, go right to Furehand, wherever you want. The Embry Air Pilots, those are a little harder to come by in clean shape like that. When you do find them like this, because they are highly valued in parts of the country where people still use these for actual light. They know how good these are. You're going to have to battle them for them on eBay. So figure 100 bucks each minimum, at least, maybe 110 when they're this cheap. A Dietz like this, 15, 20 bucks, even with a red lens. Don't pay more than that at the flea markets, because if somebody wants too much money for it, skip it and get another one. You'll find another one, no problem. Even the blue one over here, the blue one cost me 20 bucks. And look how clean that thing is. That's USA-made Dietz. Almost all its paint, intact glass. It even had a good wick in it. No holes, 20 bucks. That was an estate sale find. In fact, it might even be one of the videos in one of my previous estate sale videos. One like that back there too. That's not expensive. Figure at the flea market, you're going to pay 20 to 25 bucks for it. That's it. But railroad lanterns, because they're heavily collected, you know, that's going to cost you some money. That's going to set you back, especially if it's got the name of one of the more famous railroads on it, you know, like the Pennsylvania Railroad, the New York Central, and so on. So don't, and especially when they're this clean. That's the thing. You can get one with a broken shade, a missing burner, all rusty and bent, and, you know, you're going to pay 10, 15 bucks for it. It's just for display. Maybe you put a flower in there or something. You want one that actually functions, that's this clean, expect to pay quite a bit for it. It will not be that cheap. This one, I got a very, very good deal on. That's why it's here. I did not pay big money for that. But that is rare. That is definitely rare. And did I skip any? No, I don't think so. Pretty much got them all. But these ones, if you don't buy any other lantern, and you don't want to hunt around the flea markets, and you want a lantern in the house in case the lights go out, buy one of these. Don't buy one of those cheap Chinese pieces of crap. This is a German-made lantern. Exactly the same thing is made today in the same factory in Germany. Excellent, excellent quality. Yeah, they're small compared to a full-size Dietz. They are small, but they do get the job done. You see, there's not much difference in the flame there. They're about the same size. So, you know, it's always good to pick up 2 or 3 of these. If you do a little shopping on eBay, you can find these at a fairly reasonable price. used, slightly used, gently used, and they're going to be. This one is brand new, but actually they're both up. This one's got a little more patina on it, let's say, that does not affect how it works. A little more patina on the cap and all of that. This was a $15 lantern. And like I said, brand new. I've seen them as cheap as, I think the cheapest I ever saw was $35. And, oh, wait a minute. I have that lantern here. Hold on a second. I'll show you what a $35 brand new Pure Hand looks like. Let's put that there. Oh. Just give me a second here. It's not fueled up, but then again, it really doesn't have to be. You know what I'm talking about. There you go. This is current production. See? It's got the sticker still on it. Made in Germany. Galvanized is what they're calling it. Okay, that's what's on there. There you go. Brand new. Same as the old one. No difference at all. They haven't changed anything on them. They haven't compromised on quality anywhere to keep up with the Chinese cheap ones. They're made really, really nice. If you get a chance, if you want a lantern really bad, you don't want to go through the trouble of finding a decent old one, you can always get one of these. And now the Chinese ones Dietz makes over there, they do work. I'll say that much. It's really hard to screw up the design of one of these, so they won't work. But they're chintzy compared to these things. They're not made anywhere near as well. Attention to detail is not there. Quality control is not there. Everything's just good enough, not really excellent. So I would highly recommend one of these over the Chinese ones. And frankly, it's not a lot of money. Really isn't. Let's see. It's starting to get darker now, so you can see them glowing a little bit better. And you can put citronella oil in these things and leave them out on the deck to kill off the mosquitoes, which I had done because they are, believe it or not, the 14th today, I think it is, of March. And it hit over 70 degrees. And the mosquitoes woke up with a vengeance, and they're buzzing all around me right now. And they're all going to freeze next week when the temperature drops. Then so will I. So that's not looking forward to that, really. But there you go. Some of my lantern collection. They seem to accumulate.